Major funding for these broadcasts has been provided by grants from Madison Realty Capital, New York Community Bank, M&T Bank, AmTrust Title, Customers Bank, Ariel Property Advisors, Capital One Bank, Sterling National Bank, Marks Paneth LLP, Meridian Capital Group. Additional funding has been provided by grants from Amarant Bank, AVR Realty Company, Bank of America Merrill Lynch, Briarwood Organization, B6 Real Estate Advisors, CBRE, Chase Commercial Term Lending, Chase Mortgage Lending, Citizens Bank, Collins Building Services, CPEX Real Estate Services, Douglaston Development Levine Builders, Flushing Bank, Friedman LLP, Handro Properties Handler Real Estate Organization, Hodges Ward Elliott INC, Investors Bank, James D. Kuhn Real Estate Institute at Syracuse University, John Catsimatidis Red Apple Group, Kilroy Architectural Windows, Matone Group, Newmark Knight Frank, Optimum Window Manufacturing Corp., People's United Bank, Rockefeller Group, Rosewood Realty Group, RPW Group, SJP Properties, Stonehenge NYC, TD Bank, Terra CRG, the Merringore Family Foundation, and these friends. The Bronx, or should we say Upper Manhattan, Briarwood, Queens, swimming, the Homowac, the Raleigh, horses, Manhattan Community College, Bentley, working for a sports publication? I got to get a job. I'll go to work for the shopping center people. Then I'll get involved with a textile company. I'll get involved with real estate. I'll get into other things. I'll be involved with ownership, leasing. I'll be a maven on the accumulation of properties. I'll be that nice guy who's a partner at ABS Real Estate Partners with Earl and Greg. And Peter. And I have, needless to say, the co-managing partner and co-president of ABS, Steve Hornstock. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Let's go on Dad's side. Tell me about when they came over and a little bit about them.
So Dad came from Poland. Dad's dad migrated to the United States approximately right before World War I. He migrated here first, left his son and wife in Lvov, Poland, came here, opened up a business, rented an apartment in the Bronx. At that point, sent for his son, my dad, and his wife. And shortly after they arrived, 2 months, there was a influenza epidemic, and unfortunately, he passed away. So my grandmother and my dad were kind of alone at that point. But my grandmother, total survivor, no problem, found another Polish man whose wife also died in the influenza epidemic. And a new family was formed with my dad and my step-grandfather, Grandpa Harry Goody. His last name was Goodstein. We called him Grandpa Goody.
And that's on Dad's side.
On Dad's side. And Grandpa Goody was in the hat business. And also had 3 children from his prior marriage. So my dad had step-siblings immediately. And they stayed in the Bronx.
Now let's go to the other side, Mom's side.
Mom's side. From Russia, a town called Lepler, which I believe is Belarus now, but there's still a Lepler society. My maternal grandfather came here in, I think, shortly after World War I. He was a tailor.
He was a bon vivant.
Yes, he was.
We have pictures of him, you know?
Very interesting guy. He was one of 5 children. He was the only one who came. Unfortunately, his 4 siblings were later killed. He came here and opened up several tailor shops, one in the city, which he ended up altering clothes for the Broadway community, which was kind of interesting. My grandmother worked there. My mother worked there. He also did sewing for hospitals and some colleges. I guess they tailored
So he was an entrepreneur.
He was.
Okay. Dad was in the military, right?
My dad?
Yeah.
No. My dad wanted to be in the
Right.
military.
But he had...
When he was here, he was itching to fight the Germans, and he was denied access or entry to the United States Army, which is kind of funny, for flat feet, which is also funny since he was a handball player that played handball many, many times a week, one of those black ball handball boys. So he did not get to serve in the Army.
Right, but he became an accountant.
He went to night school, City College, graduated in 7 years, became a CPA, has a very early license number. He always used to tell me that. And I intermittently worked for him. I was supposed to be a CPA.
Let's go to Mom.
Mom, good old Mom, Eve Hornstock. She was one of 3. She had 2 sisters. One is still with us, Aunt Rose. She's 92. She's great. I see her all the time. My mother was great. I don't know what else I can tell you.
Okay, so let's talk about, how'd your parents meet?
They met, I believe, in the mountains at a singles weekend, the Catskills, the playground of the, I don't know.
Which you subsequently go to.
Which
Okay.
I subsequently went to hustle and make some money.
Okay, so let's talk about the kid who was born on the Upper West Side? Or was it the Bronx?
Myself?
Yes.
I was born in Inwood,
Right. So,
at Jewish Memorial Hospital, which is about 190th and Broadway, which does not exist at the moment.
right, and then the early years you were in, then you moved to Briarwood, Queens,
We
to H.J. Calico.
brand new Calico building in Briarwood, right over the kind of the Queens Boulevard and the Van Wyck Expressway, and that's where most of my youth happened.
I remember you assembled the New York Times, which we were talking about on
Yes, I had a
on
paper
Saturday
job.
nights, a paper job. But you were a swimmer.
I was.
You know, and then you went junior high school, and then you went to Jamaica
Yes.
High School. You were on the swimming team.
I was.
Then you said to me you got involved with the wrong element.
That was actually, yes, that's true. That was right after Jamaica.
Right, and then you spent this 1 year learning to be a good guy.
Yeah,
Then you applied to Bentley College, which today is Bentley University.
correct.
And there you were a walk-on basketball player.
I was. I probably would have played high school basketball, but the assistant coach, who subsequently became a friend of mine, didn't like me because we spent a lot of time in the playgrounds. And we used to play 21, which is a foul shooting game for money. And I used to beat him. So he was not of the mind to help me get on the basketball team. So I preferred swimming anyway.
Okay. How'd you get involved with the horse business?
Jamaica High School was a very large school,
Not too far from Aqueduct.
not too far from Aqueduct. Very large high school. We had triple sessions. So when you were a senior, you went at 7-ish and you were done by 12:20. And at one point, I made friends in one of the classes. I was helping someone with bookkeeping, I think. I also had another well-known, Bob Beeman was in my bookkeeping class. He was a 1968 gold medalist in the long jump. I met another guy, and he said, well, we're going to the racetrack right after we get out at 12:20. We get on the bus. It's right down the hill on Hillside Avenue. We get a racing form. You can smoke if you want on the bus, no problem. And we'll go to the racetrack. We'll have a great day. I said, okay. I went to the racetrack. Unfortunately for me, we won money. And to this day, I'm still a...
So you graduate Bentley, a great school, great accounting school. As you said, your dad wanted you to be an accountant.
Yes, it is.
And as opposed to becoming an accountant, and you know, it was the time of the military Vietnam War, you fortunately were able to maneuver a way that you omitted going over there.
I did that.
You then get a job with Annenberg Publications,
Yes.
the racing forum, right?
I get hired to be a field correspondent for the daily racing form. It was originally called the Morning Telegraph, but it morphed into the daily racing form, same paper. And the business manager of the racing form couldn't believe that I wanted to be a field correspondent, because that meant I had to travel. And he said, he looked at my resume and he said, are you sure? I said, yes. He said, report to Suffolk Downs in Boston. That's where Bentley was, in Waltham. And I was trained as a chart caller. I didn't have to be trained as a handicapper. I already was, because I gave selections.
You had the handicapping from Jamaica.
I already had that down. And a columnist, because I also worked on the Bentley College newspaper. So, and then they sent me, I stayed in New England for a while, and then they sent me to Winnipeg, Canada. There's a track called Assiniboia. Nobody who's watching this will have ever heard of that. They're lucky if they heard of Winnipeg. And I went to cover, because one of the guys got sick. I think there still is. A Canadian Triple Crown. They had their own version. And the third and last race was called the Manitoba Derby. And they said, we don't have anybody to cover the Manitoba Derby, like anybody really cares. They said, go. They said, we'll give you some money, we'll give you traveling. So I went to Winnipeg, and it was a godforsaken place, and the track was a godforsaken track.
But the young lady you met...
So I had just, I don't know if I just got engaged. The timing's always crazy since it's 1972. The woman I was to marry, who I met in college on a blind date, I said, why don't you come to Winnipeg? This was in May, I guess.
And she said, it's Winnipeg or me.
She did say that, but she did come to Winnipeg. It was May. The sun stayed out till 10 o'clock. I said, you're going to love this. She didn't really love that. And I lived in a ridiculous place, and she spent 2 days with me in Winnipeg. And she said, I'm going to the airport, I'm going home, make a decision, Winnipeg, racetrack, or me. And 2 days later, I left my job, I guess similar to the guy who I replaced. I don't really know what happened.
You came home and you find the job at Slayton Development?
Yes, my to-be wife's father's oldest friend was a controller for a developer on Long Island called Slayton Associates. And he said, you can come to work, you can work with the controller, be the assistant controller. And I was in a development office. There was an architect who worked for the development company. He and I, about 1975, 76, opened an interior construction company, because I had, at the time, the World Trade Center was built and was being tenanted. We had some relationships with some of the Port Authority people who oversaw the work. So we started bidding tenant fit-out jobs in the World Trade Center. And we got many of them, and we did it for a number of years. And then we bid a job there for the antennas, the big-time antennas on Tower B, I think. And we did a terrible job estimating that. And
you
we
went out of
had
business.
terrible cost overruns, and that was that.
So what happens after that?
So after that, I went to work for a co-op developer, co-op converter on the Upper East Side.
Edelman?
Yes, Alexander Edelman. Very good, Michael. And I co-opted 399 East 72nd Street and another one on Park Avenue, 715 Park, which I think did become effective.
So what are you doing now?
So now, I enjoyed the co-oping the process, and I did it later on in my career as well. I met a gentleman named David Edelstein, who's still my friend, very good friend, and we started assembling property to build residential towers, and we did.
The Channel Club?
We built the Channel Club on 86th and York, the northwest corner. We acquired most of the 25-footers on York. We acquired an SRO, which we were in the middle of the SRO situation.
Long time.
Yeah, we never ended up incorporating the SRO site into the building. We took the air rights. There was a moratorium, I think it was Koch, decided that the SROs were the housing stock for the homeless, so we put a moratorium on the demolition of them. And we fought it for 9 years. It ended up in the Supreme Court, and we won. I was, of course, long gone then, but by the time.
So now
I was assembling property,
and you became a developer.
and I was developing, and I enjoyed that as well. And the market turned in the early 90s. It was, the condos was probably selling for $400 a foot, and everyone's like, what?
So it's the early 90s.
It's the early 90s.
There's this company called Helmsley-Spear.
Helmsley-Spear. Right.
So what happened?
So I was introduced to Earl Altman, who was one of the significant players at Helmsley-Spear, right under Irving Schneider and Alvin Schwartz, who were Harry Helmsley's lieutenants, if you will. And I met Earl, and he said, oh, great, why don't you come to work with us? And just like that.
Right. Now, did he want you to be an investment salesperson?
He wanted me to work with him. We got along immediately in the investment sales. And, well, one of the things that made Helmsley-Spear, I guess Helmsley-Spear, was there was no prohibition about owning property. There were not a lot of rules. So entrepreneurial people like Earl did their brokerage work, did some leasing and management if they had it for some of the Helmsley-owned properties, but also accumulated their own properties, which was really always the goal.
So how do you, I mean, this letter, this infamous letter.
Oh.
Tell me about that.
You can come to work. There's no salary. There's no draw. There's full cooperation. We joke about it to this day.
And he gave you 60%.
Yes.
So 60-40.
He did. So he had
Didn't
Irving
guarantee
Schneider.
you a penny.
Right. And Alvin Schwartz, he wrote them a note. He said, I'd like to hire this guy, Steve. He has an accounting background and a good resume, and he'll be no salary, no draw. He's going to work on the 53rd floor with me. And they initialed it, and my Helmsley-Spear career started. At that point, we were rolling. We had acquired a few things, and I was assembling property on the west side, and I was doing, I think, what I do best. But on the inside at Helmsley, it was sort of imploding. Harry had passed away, and Leona was, not totally focused on the day-to-day. And so I would always say to Earl and Greg, and I didn't really introduce Greg. Greg Schenker is my partner now and my dear friend. He's great. You know him from the Harmony Club and other places. We sort of became a business threesome.
And we have a picture of that threesome.
Yes, you
current
do.
picture.
Good. And
of
so
Earl,
we
Greg,
sort
and
of united, and we have to this day a great relationship. And we don't.
So how do you start to become new entrepreneurs? I mean,
Well,
you've always been
we
entrepreneurs.
knew that it was only a matter of time until we were not going to work at Helmsley. So we all wanted to open our own office because we had some accounts and some buildings that we had acquired with other partners. We always do it with partners. But we really didn't have the mindset to open an office and staff it and sign leases and get health insurance and do all those painful things.
So when's
So
the
we
official?
affiliated, we left, we
with-
affiliated with Murray Hill
Properties.
Properties. Yeah, that's 98 or 99, yes.
So it's 98, 99, so
Yes.
it's the 20th anniversary of ABS.
Oh, yeah, for sure, absolutely,
Right.
yes. So, and then we transitioned from the Murray Hill, we opened our own office at 200 Park South, which we are today, in 2003 or 4, because we wanted to be autonomous. And I mean, it was great with Murray Hill. Norman is terrific, and Neil was there. And
So what is ABS today?
today, we have a very vibrant, very unique company. We do a lot of things. We have 80 people in our office, and then we have field people. We manage millions of square feet of primarily B office buildings. We manage, we lease. The partners of ABS own an interest in not all of them, but a reasonable amount of them. And our mandate is to provide this service for our own properties as well as third parties. We have some very loyal clients. And also to acquire more property, to build a base, and to, of course, acquire property to.
So let's also talk about, in addition to running a very successful real estate company, very well established, and people enjoy a great reputation, how do you get into the horse business? I know about Jamaica. Let's talk about the horse business today.
Well,
because
you
we
know
have a
what?
picture of you. We have a picture of you, and
We are going to talk about my wonderful family, right?
yes, in a minute. But you got to do
Because
it quick.
that's really the deal here.
The horses.
No, the
You got a
wonderful
minute.
family. Well, I've intermittently always loved horse racing. I probably went to 21 straight Belmont Stakes, things like that. One time in the summer, decided to see how many tracks I could visit, things like people do baseball like that. So the past, say, 4 or 5 years ago, I said, I know nobody makes any money by owning horses. It's not possible, but I'm going to try it anyway, being a little stubborn. And somehow convinced Jimmy Buslick, who owns Adams with David Levy, that I knew what I was doing. And they said, okay, because Jimmy Buslick's dad also loved horses.
Okay.
He didn't love horses, but his dad did. So he said, you know what, this sounds good.
Let's get the family now. The horses.
So we bought some horses, and we still have them.
What are the names of the horses before we go to the family?
Oh, my God. We've retired a few.
Okay.
The one we have running actually very soon is called Horoscope. He's okay, not great, and blah, blah,
Let's
blah.
talk about your 2 daughters.
Now you're cooking,
Okay,
Michael.
tell me about them. We know you've been married for how many years? 46?
Yes, for 1972.
Okay, so tell me about your daughters and your
I have 2
son-in-laws.
daughters.
Okay. So
'Cause
Jessica's the oldest one?
Yes,
And she's married to who?
to Alone Rosen, who's a Wall Street guru guy. And they have 2 children, which makes me a double grandfather.
And the names of the
And
2
they
children?
are Sydney and Jake. And they are amazing.
Okay,
and-
and then last year you had the other daughter.
Then
get
my
married.
other daughter, Samantha. We're going to talk about my wife, too, right?
Yes.
I mean, otherwise,
Get to Samantha and
Samantha, who's 10 years younger than Jessica, was just married. Last April at the Tribeca rooftop.
Which we have the picture of
You have a great
the
picture.
entire family.
Fabulous, great place. She married a Canadian guy, Alex Warner, and Alex works with us at ABS. He's working hard, and we're...
So tell me about the woman of 46 years of marriage.
Now you're talking. Blind date at Bentley College. Guy on my floor said, there's a girl from my hometown, which was the South Shore of Long Island. She's very pretty. You like her. Will you go out with her? I said, of course. And I did. And I think she was a freshman. It was my second year at Bentley. I was already...
So it was good that you made the decision to not stay in Canada, but to
Oh
come
my
back.
God, my wife is very sound thinking. She's terrific. She's a great partner. That was arguably the best decision I ever made.
So I think that's the first best
But we can't
decision.
show her that, or you can't tell her I just said
So
that.
that was the best decision, and I think it's a good decision that you, Earl, Greg, and Peter
Decision 2.
was number 2.
Yes.
And it's great that you're here today, and thanks for being here.
Oh, thank you, Michael.